day 5 of Post Vlogmas, and you're watching Fairy Dreams of Fiber. I'm Shara, and I already recorded this, but then I decided to do it again because I think I rambled too much the first time. That's pretty typical of me. So I wanted to show you first that I have finished the beret that I was working on in day 2 and 3. I of course knit some of my own hair into everything I make, so but that's that. I will pull those out later. It's really cute. Hold on, I'll put it on for you. I think I've got the pattern down pretty good. I'm gonna have to write it all down, the amounts, but I had to rip part of it back today and reknit it, but I think now the crown sits where I want it and it's big enough to cover a hair. Sorry. This is why you should pull your needles out of your work before you put things on your head, I guess. I'll probably leave the tails on there until I see the person it's for again, and then I can have her try it on and make sure it fits, and then I'll weave the ends in. I can do that pretty quickly. All right. Sorry, I'm not having a good hair day today, so I thought a hat would be appropriate. And besides, I made it, so. After I finished that, I ripped back the matching scarf and restarted it, so now it has the wainscot pattern. I was doing a 2x2 rib, but I really like the way the wainscot pattern comes out, and I decided to try the knit in I-cord edge on both sides. So we'll see how I like the look of that when I get done with it. I think it'll clean up the edge a little bit. So that is the black. It's gonna have some gray striping in it, but I definitely have a lot more black than gray. And she had said initially that she wanted a black and gray combination. I couldn't figure out how to put black stripes in this without it looking really, I don't know. I just wasn't sure it was going to look right. I thought it might be better to have the whole hat be one color. So maybe in the future. I did on a different one of the ones I made for Christmas. We had a gift exchange at church. And for one of those, I used a solid color and a coordinating color that I held alongside it, and that changed, and that was really pretty, but it was kind of like this marling, so it was a little more subtle, and I think it probably worked better than like trying to hold a black and a gray together would have for the hat, but we'll see. I don't quite know. Part of the reason that I'm doing this is because someone asked me very nicely. And part of the reason is because I was really hoping to find a way that I could monetize my craft a little bit. I'd really love to be able to make things for people and make a little bit of money off of it. I know there are a lot of people in the world who sell their crochet creations or their knit creations. They often use bulky yarn. Bulky needles, and they can output a fair bit, and they can sell it somehow for enough money to make it worthwhile. I haven't figured that out yet. I'm experimenting with this right now to see if it's something that I could do, but like when I actually sit down and think about the cost, you know, I have to go buy yarn, even acrylic yarn at one of the hobby stores isn't cheap, and you're gonna need like 2 balls of it, so you're looking at like maybe $10 worth of yarn. Maybe you can get it cheaper if it's on sale, but generally give people color choices, so you gotta find something that matches what they've asked for. And then the hat probably only took me like 2 hours, but there was a bit of ripping it back. I've knit it like literally no less than 3 times now. Now, some of that was me deciding how to do this and how to proceed. Then I probably won't need to do that again. But there's still a bit of that involved. And then it's a scarf, right? So it's going to take time to get the scarf done, and it's got to be fairly long, even with a bulky yarn. You want it long enough to wrap around someone's neck, keep them nice and toasty. And I don't know how long that's going to take. And maybe I'll have a record of it because I've been vlogging. So that'll be helpful. But like, at what point, how much money can I really ask people to spend on something like that? And at what point is it going to cost me more to do it than it is to just like to do it and sell it versus just doing it because somebody asked? So I'm really struggling with whether or not that's something that I could do. I guess I'm just recognizing, especially with Christmas, and I wanted to make hats and socks for my family at Christmas time. Having a commission is a weight of something that needs to get done. And no money changed hands for this request. I didn't ask her to put a deposit down or anything because I really wanted to know if I could do this. But I'm just fascinated with my own sense of like, maybe this doesn't make sense. Maybe it's not such a good idea. It's something I think about a lot because we are running a business and I have to be conscientious of my impact on the cost of our business. Brian, my husband Brian, smart man, taught me early on that anything I do for the business needs to take, when we're looking at the cost, we have to look at the fact that if I have to train somebody else to do the work and I have to pay them to do the work, am I paying them for skilled labor or unskilled labor? Do they have to come in knowing how to do certain things, or can I teach them everything from scratch? And then what would it cost us to have somebody do that skilled labor because we don't have time for it? And that's really what gets you, because like cost of living wages right now are at like $15 an hour, which is great. I have no problem with the fact that we would want to pay people living wage, but it really does make you stop and think, do you want to pay somebody $15 an hour to do this? Is it worth it? Are you charging enough for the labor? And it's a lot easier to give my labor away because I own the business and I want the business to succeed. But if I'm paying somebody like my sister or my brother or some person that I've met that needs a job, you know, am I going to be comfortable paying them in the same way? Is the product worth that much? So we really have learned that we have to take those things into consideration. And it really changes for me how I think about, oh, sorry, there's a fuzzy. How I think about, you know, things like this knitting, which I would never outsource. I'm not going to, hire somebody to knit for me and then sell it under my name, because that's not how that works. But it also, you know, really makes me double think about, you know, do I want to be committed to this? Do I want to have slots? Maybe I just do 12 sets a year. Do I really want to be stuck making the same thing over and over again? I mean, I'm enjoying it right now. Will I enjoy it in 6 months? Will I enjoy it on the 7th set? I don't know. So those are all things I've been thinking a lot about. And I wonder, have you ever thought about selling your stuff? Do you make something that you'd want to sell? I'm assuming that if you are watching this channel, you are also a maker or a fiber enthusiast or something along those lines, and you probably have something that you are also thinking about. Could you make it and sell it? And I think these are really important discussions to have, especially right now in our economic climate and with everything that's been going on. As a friend of mine at work used to say, good, bad, or indifferent. Like, it doesn't really matter where you're sitting. It matters that, you know, there's a lot of socioeconomical impact on us, and how we proceed is going to impact how we are able to move forward, how our families are able to move forward, and what our futures look like. So these are all really important things to think about. And I think it's impacting how I think about other small businesses and the work that other people are doing for me. Like even my waitresses and waiters at my favorite diner, their labor is invaluable it makes my Saturday morning dining experience so much more fun. But also there's an incredible amount of labor that goes into that I'm not having to do. And I cook at home. Well, I was cooking at home all the time. Now I'm cooking at home about 50% of the time. But if I'm not doing it, then my husband's doing it. So one of us is partaking in that labor. And I guess that's really what this is, got me thinking about. So there's a very heavy vlog for you. I was going to tell you a silly story about my needles, but I guess I changed my mind and I talked about this instead. So I can't see my work right now because my light is too low, but I don't want to turn the light on and screw up the lighting in the room. So I'm going to leave you with some more images of me finishing up. Well, not finishing. I took some video of me working on the hat and I was almost done, and then I tried it on and it did not fit. So maybe that will make it into this video. Maybe it won't. We'll see. But yeah, so that's where I'm at today. It is December 30th. Tomorrow is New Year's Eve. So hopefully I'll have some video tomorrow of us doing something fun. I was going to tell you about it, but I think we'll just see what happens because it sounds like tomorrow could be a very busy day. So we'll leave it for tomorrow for now. So have a great night. Enjoy the vlog. Enjoy your evening. And I will talk to you again tomorrow.